Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please help support my channel by clicking the button, and as an added bonus you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music. Alright, we're going to take a look today at Nick Mason and the Saucerful of Secrets and their live album called Live at the Roundhouse. It was released September 18th of 2020. And of course, Nick Mason is, legendary drummer for one of the biggest bands in the world, Pink Floyd. And with both Roger Waters and David Gilmour focusing their live shows on material that is from 1973's Dark Side of the Moon and after, Nick has formed this band to play early Pink Floyd material from their often overlooked first 7 albums, which span the years from 1967 and 1972. And so in order to really understand what this live release is all about, I want to jump back in Pink Floyd's history here to when they formed 55 years ago in 1965, initially as an early psychedelic pop group with the lineup of Syd Barrett on guitar and vocals, Nick Mason on drums, Roger Waters on bass, and Rick Wright on keyboards. And the band initially released a number of singles and B-sides that would not appear on their debut album, including Arnold Lane and the B-side Candy and Currant Bun, and See Emily Play with the B-side The Scarecrow. And so a lot of early material to draw upon, even more so than just those first 7 albums. There's a number of B-sides and singles and stuff too, so a lot of great material there. Now their debut album, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, was released in 1967. And following the initial success of the band, they would replace Syd Barrett with David Gilmour. And the band would release the follow-up, Saucerful of Secrets, in 1968, which of course is where Nick Mason takes the name of his band from. And then they would follow that up with More in 1969, which is the first of 2 soundtrack releases, this one to the film of the same name. And it's also the last album to feature any input from, or actually was the first album without any input from Syd Barrett on it. And then 1969 also saw the release of Umaguma, which is a pretty cool release here. It's a double album. The first one is a live disc, and the second one has solo experimental compositions from each of the band members on it. And then Atom Heart Mother was released in 1970, and this is the first album to reach #1 in the UK. And then Metal came out in 1971, which shows David Gilmour as becoming a force within the band. And then that followed up by Obscured by Clouds, which came out in 1972. And it's the second of the 2 soundtrack releases that they've done. And this one to the French film, and I hope I pronounce this right, La Vallée or La Vallée. And so, while often overlooked, these early albums are the transitional bridge to the band's next album, Dark Side of the Moon, which came out in 1973. And with that album, it kicked off a whole new commercial period for the band with just enormous success of over 170 million albums sold worldwide. And so, Dark Side of the Moon 1973 has sold an estimated 44 million copies. And as of May 2020, the album itself has spent 950 weeks on the Billboard charts, which is more than any other album has done. Wish You Were Here, which came out in 1975, has sold 22 million albums. Animals in 1977, 12 million, and The Wall in 79 with 31 million. And so the band would continue to release several more albums all the way up until 2014's The Endless River. With the band effectively being done, according to David Gilmour, Nick Mason had turned his attention and focused on compiling archival material for various Pink Floyd box sets and deluxe editions. And it led Nick to realize that no one was really performing this early material, and so he decided to put a band together to go out and play this early material, which led to the formation of the Saucerful of Secrets. And so Nick Mason is on drums, Gary Kemp on guitar and vocals, he comes from Spandau Ballet, Guy Pratt on bass and vocals, he was one of Pink Floyd's touring members in the later years, Lee Harris on guitar, and Dom Bakemp on keyboards. And so what's really great here is that both Roger Waters and David Gilmour have given Nick their blessing to go out and do this, so there's no bad blood, no ill will or anything like that. They're all being very supportive of him, which leads us to Live at the Roundhouse, the release we want to talk about here. And so all of the material on here is pre-Dark Side of the Moon. Only 4 of these songs performed here have ever been released as part of a live Pink Floyd album. And so even though this is old Pink Floyd material on here, there's plenty of new stuff. For example, the original introduction of Interstellar Overdrive that had been retired from Pink Floyd live shows has been restored for their shows. But one of the real attractions here is the inclusion of the Syd Barrett rarity Vegetable Man. This song was only recently unearthed and released as part of the 2016 Early Years box set. You can see it in the background there, the black box set. There's a separate review of that here on my channel if you're interested and want to check it out. And with this performance, the band has really infused, new life into these early Pink Floyd classics. And they do not sound like they're running through songs that are over 50 years old at this point. Even Nick says these songs never sounded this good back in the day, which I think also shows, the amount of fun and, that he's getting out of playing these songs live, which also translates to the recording of this, which was done at the Roundhouse. And Mason said it's a bit of like a homecoming because Pink Floyd played there in 1966 prior to being signed. So it's a bit of like, it was a starting point for Pink Floyd, but it's also very fitting that all these years later, it's the starting point for his new band, Saucerful of Secrets. So let's take a look at this. This is the front cover of this. Here's the back side of it. It's a cool little box. There's the side of it, or the spine. I really like the psychedelic artwork that they've got going on here. Really very fitting for the time period. But what's cool here is this die cut out thing like a picture sleeve to a vinyl. And when we slide this off, we've got a number of things here. The first thing being the book, and then the 2 CDs and DVD. And so the book is where it's at. It's got some really great artwork and photos in it. The graphics are just done really well. You see there's a write-up there on it that goes through, Nick Mason's thoughts and song selections and that kind of cool stuff. But just the graphics and artwork really kind of puts you back in that time frame and mood for the show. And of course the DVD and its lights and everything like that are just done really well. It's a fantastic performance, both in sound and visuals, but just also really great packaging to the way that this is done, for this release here. That's certainly not skimped on in any way, in my opinion. And here's the first disc of this and the way that they do this, and like the old vinyl sleeves. This is disc 2. Discs just pop out through the sides like that. No protection on them, but still cool the way that it's done here in the DVD itself. So nice the way that they do that. And pretty cool because I was lucky enough to be able to see them live. You can see I'm wearing the shirt here. I saw them at the Beacon Theater in New York City, and amazingly, Roger Waters showed up and performed with them. He sang the song Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, which was truly just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Nobody expected that to happen. Nick Mason said he didn't even expect that to happen. It was just a kind of spur-of-the-moment thing. I was also lucky enough to get a drumstick from the show, so just really cool all the way around for me. There's a short clip of that performance with Roger Waters if you want to check it out on my channel as well. And the band is performing or planning on performing more shows once the COVID restrictions are lifted. And they're also planning on digging deeper into the catalog as well as into more archival material and, unreleased songs, that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll get another live release, a companion to this one here with even more rarities on it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and I hope everyone has a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.